hygiene. It's important for you and your makeup kit. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're going to go over the beauty basics of the hygiene of your makeup kit. This is something that is extremely super important if you plan on becoming a freelance makeup artist, because if you do not have good hygiene, especially now with COVID-19 going on, you will not be getting a job and essentially have no career, because word spreads fast, and if someone sees something with like bad hygiene in your kit, that's gonna go around to everybody else in the industry. So if you want to learn how to avoid any of those mistakes, then let's just get right into the video. Okay, so I had the blessing to go to makeup school, and in makeup school they like really pound you on hygiene, because I mean, that's like the basic thing that you kind of need to know, and if you don't have that, you are not going to be a successful makeup artist. And I hate to break it to anybody like that, but it's true. So I went ahead and in my little planning book, I've written everything down that I could possibly think of, just going through my kit, what I do on an everyday basis, before and after clients, etc. So if I leave out one thing, don't come at me in the comments, but rather let's share what I may have missed in the comments to help everybody be a more successful and cleaner makeup artist. So getting right into it, my list is a little bit all over the place, but I'm gonna try to like go on how I would like apply to someone's makeup. So starting off, make sure when you set up your makeup station that everything should be on a clean towel, as well as have a paper towel on top of that clean towel. And then you could set up your little palette, your spatula, and any other little things like your sponges and whatnot onto the side. That is really important because you never know the surface that you're working on if it's clean or not. And that's another really good point, is that I like to bring little wipes with me, so I'll just wipe down everything, like my surface and my chair and whatnot, because like especially if you're doing movie sets, like you could be out on some location, you don't know what your office is going to look like for that sense. So making sure to have a clean towel as well as a paper towel on top of that towel to set all of your tools and palettes on is like one of the first steps. Then, like I just said, you want to kind of clean the surface around you. That includes your chairs, especially now with COVID. When you have a client sitting in your chair, make sure to disinfect that chair. And as well, if you use a cape in your makeup kit, make sure that you are disinfecting your makeup cape, because one person's going to be wearing it and then another person's going to be wearing it, and you don't know that person's hygiene and whatnot. So just to be safe, always sanitize your makeup cape and the chair as well. Next up, before you actually start the makeup application as well, when you have everything laid out, this is a new thing that my teachers at school have been telling us to do, is to give your overall station a spray of 70%, which will disinfect. 70% alcohol disinfects. Just so any, like when you have your brushes and your makeup belts, or like if you use brush cups, you just spray everything in front of the client so they know, like, it's just an extra precautionary step that everything is clean and disinfected, sanitized, and so on. With that being said, for brushes, now I like to have a cup specifically for dirty brushes, that when I am done with that brush, it is going to go into its own container because it is now dirty and contaminated. This is another really important thing, is if you're working with multiple clients, I like to bring different Ziggy bags or Ziploc bags, so I put all the dirty brushes from one client in each individual bag. So if I need to go do a touch-up before, I know which bag of brushes belong to which person, because it's really gross going on someone with a brush of someone's concealer, and especially if it's by their nose or by their mouth, and you're gonna go touch somebody else's face with that brush. And I mean, that's just kind of gross. Like, you don't want that, so somebody else doesn't want that. With that being said, it is kind of important now to have a separate, like I said, you have your separate containers for dirty brushes, but you're gonna have a closed container for the brushes that you are currently not using. So what I mean by that is you kind of almost need to have 3 different like cups, I'll say, or whatever like system you're gonna use. You're gonna have one for your dirty brushes, you're gonna have a cup for your brushes that you are going to be using, and then a closed container with brushes that you are not using, because that closed container is going to shield it off from any little particles floating in the air and so on. So finally, getting into the makeup application process, the first thing is, now if you're a makeup artist, you should be wearing a face mask as well as a face shield, because you're right in someone's face. You don't want to be breathing on them, and I'm sure as heck they don't want you breathing on them either. So face mask, face shield, important. Next up, always make sure you have hand sanitizer. If you do not have hand sanitizer in your kit, please go out and buy it right now. Anytime you go back into your kit, go touch something else like someone's jacket or something, you need to re-sanitize your hands in front of the client, because you're touching stuff and then your hands are going to go and touch their face. That's kind of unprofessional, so you always need to make sure your hands are cleaned. If you have a sink nearby, that is really helpful to wash and scrub your hands for 30 seconds with soap and water, but always have hand sanitizer in your kit, or even those disinfecting wet ones like wet wipes. Those are really good that I like to keep in my kit as well, so if you are on set or on location doing something, you can clean your hands. And as well, it's really nice to give to your client if they need to clean their hands as well. Continuing on in your makeup application, I kind of mentioned this in my complexion brush recommendation video. I personally do not like to go in with sponges like beauty blenders, the Real Technique blenders, anything like that, because you can never truly clean those things, because the makeup just seeps so far into it that you really never know if it's clean or not. You can spray a lot of alcohol on it and it's like, you just never know. So I like to stick with brushes because I know I can completely deep clean and sanitize those. And if I do need to use sponges, I do use disposable sponges. So they are a one-time use sponge that you can get pretty much at any drugstore. You can get it at dollar stores, you can get it at like Sally Beauty Supplies, you can get latex and non-latex ones. I have both in my kit because I use latex ones for when I'm doing special effects because it picks up the color a little bit nicer. But I do use non-latex one in my beauty makeup kit because some people are sensitive to latex. So, like I just said, you use little disposable sponges and then you throw it out. No cross-contaminating from different clients, and you don't have to worry about trying to clean the crap out of it because there's foundation that has seeped into it essentially. With that being said, other disposables that I like to keep in my kit do include mascara wands. You should never be double dipping a mascara wand in the mascara tube. You go ahead, you put it in there once, you put it on. If you need more, you garbage that one and you grab a new one. Never double dip, because this can cause different eye infections, pink eye, and just germs that you really don't want to be cross-contaminating from client to client, because you don't necessarily know what kind of skin conditions other people have. So always use single-use mascara wands. Another disposables that I like to have is little eyeliner ones. You can get them off Amazon. Any of these disposables you can get off Amazon. So I like using the eyeliner ones because not only just for eyeliner, but if I'm doing like face painting or something that's like super fine detail, it's really easy just to go in with the little disposable eyeliner brush and just go and get the job done. Another disposable I like to have in my kit are lip brushes. I do have actual lip brushes, but I do have lip applicators that I will put in my little touch-up kits, but I also do like to use that, especially if sometimes the client might not feel comfortable with my lip brushes. So, I mean, that's totally fine. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I would probably feel the same way if, like, I just got a weird vibe or something. But I do like to keep them just so if the client would rather me use that, and especially now with COVID, you just never know, so I'm definitely going to be making use of those a lot more than my actual lip brushes. Moving on to our makeup application is I like to have a metal palette and a spatula in my kit at all times, and I will depot any liquids, creams onto this. So liquid foundations, cream foundations, cream, bronzers, highlight, blush, all of that. I take my little spatula, I put a little, scrape a little bit off and put it on my palette, and I will work off my palette, because then, like I said previously with the mascara wands, I'm not double dipping in anything, and if it's skin products that can be really, really gross and build up a lot of bacteria really fast. Liquid foundations, I literally will just pump some right onto my palette or squeeze it out of the little squeezy tube, whatever is packaged. But needless to say, I work out of all of those products right off of my palette, so I know it is clean, nothing is being double dipped or cross-contaminated. It is all special to that client that I am currently working on. A general tip is when I am going to a new makeup artist and getting my own makeup done, but something that I like to have done prior to seeing my client, is making sure that the packaging on all of my products is clean. So sometimes you do get kickback from eyeshadow palettes. Make sure to wipe down your eyeshadow palettes beforehand, because when you go show up to a client and you open that palette and there's just like eyeshadow all over the place, it doesn't necessarily look sanitary and very clean and like put together, and so overall that just doesn't give you a professional vibe to your client. So another thing for some final touch or like little nitpicky things is anything like tweezers and eyelash curlers must be sprayed with 99% and 70% to clean and disinfect. And I personally like doing it before and after right in front of the client, so that they know when I'm taking it out it is clean, and when I put it back into my makeup kit that it is also clean as well. That is just an extra precautionary step, and that is something that I also like to do with any of my pencil products. I will sharpen it in front of my client before using it on them, and after I have used it on them I will sharpen it again to take off that layer that was just used on them. Another tip with that is when you're working with eyebrows, I typically do not like to use eyebrow pencils like the retractable waxy ones, because it is hard to clean those. You can't really super say like, oh, this is 100% new, clean, disinfected, because you can't sharpen off the first layer and completely scrape off the layer of it. I mean, you're just kind of wiping it down in that point, and then you're just kind of ruining the product consistency. So for that reason, I like to stick with brow powders, brow pomades, because again, I can depot that with my spatula and put it onto my palette, or working with like a traditional brow pencil that you sharpen. A big no is blowing on things. When you're going away with your little brush and you go, no, as soon as you do that, no, like I would like be so uncomfortable with having you finish your makeup on me, because you just blew on the brush that's going on my eye or my lip. I mean, literally, like, defeats the purpose of A, wearing the face mask, and B, being super sanitary, because you just blew all your dirty particles on the brush that's going on in my eye. So that is a big no-no. If you need to tap fallout out, or like I just gave away the answer, if you need to get rid of fallout, you tap it off against your palette, you know? No blowing on that, guys. Nobody wants you to blow on the brush that's gonna go on their face, okay? Promise me you're not gonna blow on any of your products. As well with blowing on eyeshadow brushes and any type of brush, when you're waiting for your lash glue to dry, don't blow on that lash, because that lash is going on your client's eye, and that's just as bad as the brush. Your particles are getting on that, and then it's going to go near their eye. So what I like to do is I'll put a little bit of lash glue on a spatula, or you could even put it on a Q-tip, and I will hold my lash and just go along the rim of it, just kind of go like this, let it air dry, what's like 30 seconds to a minute of your application, and then you can go ahead and apply it on your client. So to summarize that entire section, no blowing on any of the makeup products, no blowing at all when you're working on a client. That probably sounds wrong, but let's not go there. So to kind of start wrapping up our little hygiene video, I know it's been a long one, guys, make sure, as a makeup artist, I personally like to have my hair like up in a pony or clipped back, because it's very unprofessional when you're constantly touching your face and going and working on somebody else's face. It's kind of goes with the whole blowing on something like spiel. Like, it's just not hygienic, it's not professional looking, and nobody wants that. So my biggest tip would be, you know, have your hair up and out of your face so it's not going to bother you. And if you do happen to accidentally touch your face, immediately sanitize your hands. That goes with that sanitization rule of if you're touching something else that's not part of your makeup kit or currently what you're working on, you sanitize your hands immediately after you touch it. So I thought I'd quickly wrap up the video with just some tips on how to maybe properly clean your makeup brushes. So there's a few different ways and some really good products out there that really help deep clean everything. So one way that you can use is you kind of swirl it and like soak it in 99% alcohol, and then you do the same and soak it in 70% alcohol. 99% alcohol will clean anything and 70% alcohol disinfects. So those are two really good things to know just in general when being a makeup artist, and if you need to clean something in a splash or a pinch rather, just spray some 99 to clean it and some 70% to disinfect everything. Some really good brush cleansers that are out there is the Cinema Secrets brush cleanser. It's really good, it does the job, and then even after I use a specific brush cleanser, I do like to really coat everything in 70% alcohol while I'm at home cleaning my brushes and whatnot, and then again once you've arrived to your client and you are completely set up, give another really quick 70% alcohol spray, just so the client is super comfortable and knows that you know what you're doing. It's really going to make a difference in being a successful and a professional looking makeup artist. Okay you guys, so that wraps up our beauty basic video about hygiene. Hopefully I didn't talk your ear off, hopefully it made sense to you, and hopefully it wasn't completely sporadic all over the place, but hopefully it makes sense. Hopefully you guys learned something, and I don't know how many times I could say hopefully in this outro. But anyways, make sure to like and subscribe to my video. Follow me over on Instagram at @memyself_makeup. And remember, if I left something out, don't be rude about it. Be courteous and leave it down below in the comments so we can all become better and more successful makeup artists. So until next time guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next Wednesday.